Hello everybody, Brian Good here on this Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Christy Dutton, it's the sweetest day of the year. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, but it's also the sweetest day of the year.
Because of candy?
Because of candy. You read my mind on that one. Alright, well, let's take a look and see how things are trending on Snow Talk. First off, the snowboard. Well, nothing. 2 days in a row of that. Sad, isn't it? But it's not exactly all bad news. Alright? And no, I'm not trying to pull things out of nowhere here. I'll explain why that's the case in a second. First off, as we look at the radar trends for today, we've had a lot of moisture on the radar, lighting up at times with rain and snow. We've had a couple of reports of sleet because the atmosphere is dry, so a lot of that evaporates before it can get down to our level. But we have noticed that the heavier the precipitation can become, you can't overachieve that and get it down to the surface level, and that's why you're seeing more of the yellows and reds showing up there across our southern county. So we are getting reports now, some rain and snow and sleet all mixed together, but we are all above freezing. So this is not a big deal. Ground temps too in the 40s, so a very short-term issue, but just another reminder of how sad, I guess, is the way I can word it, the winter has been for us, where we get these events like this that could be a decent snow, and nothing lines up just right for it. Oh well. Alright, well, we got the system. It's part of that southern wave that's going to eventually phase up the east coast here as we head into the next 24 to 36 hours. It's giving severe weather down into Texas. It'll, again, scoot to our south, keeping most of the moisture with it. Can't rule out with the actual front moving in later on tonight. The cold front's right here. Maybe some flurries with that. We'll fine-tune that forecast later today. But that is a possibility as we get colder. But it all depends on how quickly we drop temperature-wise, and that may take a while. All right, here's Futurecast showing this moisture now moving out of here to our south. Still got a south wind most of the day. That'll allow us to get even some breaks in the clouds, especially north of 64. That'll allow for temperatures to get into the 50s. Then the cold front moves in, and then you see just that hint there of a few snowflakes that may develop as that colder air rushes in near sunrise tomorrow. It's a possibility. It don't seem to be a big deal, but just kind of something we'll be watching on the radar trends. So let's talk about what's coming our way. As we head into this weekend, warming things up, likely into the 60s, upper 60s on Sunday. And then we're talking about 70s as we head into Monday, and the record is 76 on Monday, by the way. That record was reached just last year on that date. So we could do it 2 in a row, potentially. We'll see how that plays out. Now, with that warmth comes, of course, the chance for maybe some thunderstorms. Let's look at the model data here. And as we do, here's the GFS. Here is the Canadian, or the Euro, and here's the Canadian. Operational models at the top, ensembles at the bottom. You see, as we head into Sunday, the ridge begins to build, and it's kind of arced, just like this, kind of like a half-moon shape. So we're just now getting a taste of it right in Kentucky on Sunday. That's why we're warming up into the upper 60s, and then we'll be in the core of it as we head into Monday and parts of Tuesday. One thing I've noticed is the low on the GFS. It's a bit slower. It really doesn't want to move the low in here until sometime Wednesday. The Euro's faster, brings it in Tuesday afternoon and night. The ensembles kind of match their own ideas here, but also the latitude of the low is wavering a bit, because anywhere south and east of that track is where you're likely going to have more of the stronger thunderstorm potential out of that system. And when you look at the dew point potential, the blue shaded areas, 60-degree dew points or higher, that's usually the best zone to look at for severe weather, and I think that'll be the zone we'll get outlooked by the Storm Prediction Center as we get closer in time, and perhaps even a marginal that could extend into this area potentially. It depends on the track of that low. So something we'll be monitoring again for mainly Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But at this point, that does not look to be a big deal as it did even a few days ago, but we'll see how that plays out. Then as we head toward the end of the period of later next week, we quickly warm things back up. Look at the Euro really ramping the warmth back in. I think we will get back into the 60s and 70s shortly after the system moves out of here early next week. And then as we toward the end of the month, we do show us signs anyway of some colder air trying to get us back down to basically normal levels. And what I'm seeing here, looking at the stratosphere warming idea, as we look to see if there's going to be a rapid warming in the stratosphere. You get rapid warming in the stratosphere way up high in the polar region, the Arctic. That pushes the colder layers of the atmosphere into the lower layers of the atmosphere, and therefore we usually see colder surges into, more than likely, even the eastern United States. How you measure this, by the way, for you weather watchers and you weather geeks out there, is the Arctic Oscillation, the AO. It should be going positive now, because at the moment you're seeing more the cooling effect going on in the core. This would be the polar vortex idea but you can see more of the cooling taking place in the Arctic. So because of that, the Arctic oscillation is going to trend more positive. And that's usually a sign that we stay warm. But as we get toward the end of the month, look what happens. Rapid warming of the stratosphere as we end February and begin March. That means the polar vortex is going to get displaced. The question is, where is it going to go and how cold could it get in our area? The Euro is also showing the same thing. It's stratospheric warming taking place at the end of the month into March. Now, is that going to mean snow for us? I can't answer that question, but it does mean it does appear that winter is going to fight back as we begin the month of March. That could also mean severe weather as well. But it also means that snow will be taking place a lot further to the south than it will over the next 2 weeks. That's all I can tell you at this early stage. Stay tuned. We'll take it day by day, week by week. But between now and the end of the month, things look to be on the warm side.